Buenos dias. Wake up, wake up. I'm I'm good. I'm doing something at work. I'll be right back. Hello, hello. Buenos dias, buenos dias. Wake up, wake up. I had to update some data at my job. I hope you rested well. I didn't, but I did wake up early. It's cold. It's cold. And that's something to say for where I'm at. So anyway, today is Wisdom Wednesday. My phone is not fully charged, so I'm charging it right now, but let's get started. Yesterday was an awesome reading, Judges. It was a lot of revealing information. Let's get started. Let's start it. Okay. Hi, Thelma Richardson. Hello, Leighton Pillardi. Buenos dias. Thank you for coming in. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Today is Wisdom Wednesday. We start off with if I can find it. I think I built one for today. I'm not sure. Doesn't look like it. Let me see. Tuesday should be up here. I still haven't built a Wisdom Wednesday. So, maybe I did. I'm looking in the wrong area. Thank you for the like. I hope you are doing well today. Okay, let me check here. Here it is. So let's start off with a quote. It should be the other way around, but that's okay. So wisdom is the reward of a lifetime. Wisdom is a reward for a lifetime of listening. That's the quote for today. Let me Okay, so today is Wisdom Wednesday. Here's words to live by, I suppose, that you can utilize on your daily life, your daily evolution. I release the rush. I am exactly where I need to be. So midweek is often brings hump day. That's what they used to say back in the days. Brings stress or the feeling of being behind. This affirmation helps you pivot from stress to presence. Acknowledge your progress halfway through the week. Recenter your focus for a strong finish. That's the affirmation for today. Kind of short, but I haven't really built it like I built the others in terms of the affirmation. This is another affirmation. The trees that are slow to grow bear the best fruit. Patience is a tool. Don't rush a process that requires seasoning. So season it well, don't rush it. Sustainability over speed. It is better to build something that lasts than something that is simply fast. That's true for me. If you feel like you aren't producing enough today, remember you might just be strengthening your foundation. And here's a quick reflection. What is a project or goal you've been rushing lately? Take a breath and ask yourself if giving a little more time might actually improve the result. I do have a poem somewhere. I know it. I just have to find it. Oh. Okay, what's this one? All right. I trust the wisdom of my inner voice and the lessons of my journey. I do not need to have all the answers today. I only need the clarity to take the next right step with grace and intention. I think this is it. His Wisdom Wednesday poem. You might like it. The title is The Midweek Well. I found it. The weekend is a memory. The summit still in sight. We stand within the center point of shadow and of light. And the center point of shadow and of light. Interesting, that statement. It's easy to be hurried, to rush toward the end. But wisdom is the quiet voice that calls you to attend. It doesn't live in grand designs or secrets locked away, but in the pause between your breaths amidst a busy day. It's knowing when to hold your ground and when to let things go. That growth is often silent work that happens deep and slow. I like limericks. So take this Wednesday moment. Let the frantic clamor cease. The greatest strength you'll ever find is wrapped in inner peace. True that. Okay, wisdom isn't just about having the right answers. It's often about asking the right questions. Today, you might ask yourself, what am I carrying right now that I no longer need to hold? All right, there you go. That was quick. Today's going to be quick. I'm not feeling good. I'm not, let me not put that out there. I'm okay. I'm just a little off kilter, just a little bit. So we were reading Judges yesterday. It was being read by the app called YouVersion that I like to use, of the NIV version of the Bible. Very disturbing stuff that we heard. Made a couple of comments. I was thinking about the beehives in the carcass. I haven't looked that up yet, but I wrote it down where it says that Samson, there were bees that created a beehive inside of the carcass of the lion that he took down. But I have it written down. I'll look it up and see if that's something that bees do. I was thinking maybe they do, because who cares where I don't think they care where they build their beehive, as long as they're safe. Right? I don't know. All right, here we go. We're going to go right into it. My phone battery is low, so we're going to go into U version. Do not be anxious about anything. That's Philippians 4, verse 6. Do not be anxious about anything. That's a good one for today. Okay. That's U version coming up, and we are on Judges 15. So I'm going to place the phone where you can hear it. I'm going to go to Judges 15 on the actual book, and let's get started. I'm pretty sure it's not going to get any better with the storyline in this book, but let's see.
Judges chapter.
Let's do breathing. 3 breaths. I have a stuffy nose, so that was kind of not easy. But 3 breaths will bring you into alignment, will bring you to relaxation. And may the Creator give you the discernment and awareness and inner knowledge of what we're about to receive.
15. Later on, at the time of wheat harvest, Samson took a young goat and went to visit his wife. He said, "I'm going to my wife's room." But her father would not let him go in. "I was so sure you hated her," he said, "that I gave her to your companion. Isn't her young?"
The way they treated women, like, especially this guy, they took him, or even the guy before that, taking wives and giving them to other people. I mean, they were doing it to their own race anyway. They were prostituting themselves to other nations. So, I mean, go figure, you wouldn't have that much respect for your women anyway at that point, I don't think. But he just took his girl, gave him to somebody, and he was sure he hated her. He said that I gave her to your companion. He gave his wife. And like I said, I didn't think it was going to get any better. But listen to that. Listen to what he just said. Would that be possible today? Is that possible? I think in the old world, which, is, I don't think it's the old world, but in Egypt and those places out there, they do that. They do that. They give their children, they contract them to other families to marry at a certain age to become pregnant. So they do this. But to see, I don't know if we did this kind of stuff as indigenous folks. I don't know the history because we weren't taught it, obviously. But how do you feel about that? If you're a man or a woman and this guy says to you, or her father, it was her father. Her father gave her away to another person. Buenos dias, KB5TVP. You as well. Thank you kindly. I appreciate that. And he says, I was not sure. I was so sure you hated her. Her father said, that he gave her to his companion. Isn't her younger sister more attractive? Take her instead. Women would be extremely upset for this stuff. I am not okay with this. Am I not okay with this because I was brought up by a woman and my mindset is that of, my mindset is that of a woman, or it used to be. I know I'm a man. I do manly stuff. I think manly thoughts. But I also have that feminine side of me that I've been well exposed to by my mom, right? So does that make you feel happy as a woman? That you could just be given to someone else and then be offered up to someone that's married to your sister? Come on now. Come on. Whoever's believing in this stuff and going to churches and spewing this stuff into the streets to people's ears, they're wrong. Because if you read it and you use your head and your morals and your compass, and morals and all that stuff changes. if you're willing to give up your authenticity to follow someone else. I just think that's horrible. Who can read that and say that that's okay? I want to know if there's somebody out there that reads that. I was so sure you hated her that I gave her to your companion. Isn't her younger sister more attractive? Take her instead. What? Like I said, I knew it wasn't going to get any better.
Her sister more attractive. Take her instead.
What?
Samson said to them, "This time I have a right to get even with the Philistines. I will really harm them." So he went out and caught 300 foxes and tied them tail to tail in pairs. He then fastened a torch to every pair of tails, lit the torches, and let the foxes loose in the standing corn of the Philistines. He burned up the shocks and standing corn, together with the vineyards and olive groves. When the Philistines asked, "Who did this?" they were told, "Samson, the Timnite's son-in-law, because his wife was given to his companion." So the Philistines went up and burned her and her father to death.
See? You kind of get the reason we have laws, the reason you can't go around doing this kind of stuff, right? Just burning people, cutting people's fingers and stabbing people in the head, and just mayhem, absolute mayhem. So the people who read this book, who follow this book, and who they do these things because they fear their God. They do these things, and you see it all over the news. I don't watch the news in particularly, but most of the time when you watch the news, it's about mayhem and chaos. Nothing positive at all. They went up and burned her and her father to death.
Samson said to them, "Since you have acted like this, I swear that I won't stop until I get my revenge on you." He attacked them viciously and slaughtered many of them. Then he went down and stayed in a cave in the rock of Etam. The Philistines went up and camped in Judah, spreading out near Lehi. The people of Judah asked, "Why have you come to fight us?" "We've come to take Samson prisoner," they answered, "to do to him as he did to us." Then 3,000 men from Judah went down to the cave in the rock of Etam and said to Samson, "Don't you realize that the Philistines are rulers over us? What have you done to us?" He answered, "I merely did to them what they did to me." They said to him, "We've come to tie you up and hand you over to the Philistines." Samson said, "Swear to me that you won't kill me yourselves."
And this is where they say, I don't know if this is what they say, but this is civilized society. Do you think that these people are civilized? Tying each other up, burning each other, giving each other's wives away to other people, and offering their children to men or whatever. Does that sound civilized to you? It doesn't to me. It does not to me. I think, and then when you get into the magical set of the New Testament, and maybe I'll read it again, but honestly, I'm tired of this book. I'm just going to finish it. This Old Testament is out of control. Now, I will do some readings in Psalms and Proverbs because those are books that have wisdom. This is just a story about a people and how they acted. Which again, these things are done today, believe it or not. You can believe it because you see it on TV. They show you. You can't do nothing about it. You're gonna just go save a family, they'll slaughter you just like they do here. They'll they'll tie you up and they'll burn you in your house with your father. Think it's a joke, it's not a joke. But it just Really incredible how people all over the world are following this insanity. That's what I think. But maybe, who knows? Maybe, who knows, if you were brought up in that time, you would probably have the same mentality. Right? Because what other school of education would you receive? Your understanding of life and how to treat others. Where else? If this is the only place or the only teacher that they had at that time, you would probably be the same as them. Disgusting. At least to say. I mean, I can't say any more about it. It's just really, I can't wait. This book is so horrible. This Judges, and I think even the ones before that, Numbers. We read all of those. Leviticus. I think Leviticus may have some good stuff. Yeah, it's the book of laws and regulation. That's what Leviticus is. And then there's a lot of sacrifice. There's a lot of burning of animals and like blood sacrifices. It's all witchcraft to me.
Agreed, they answered. We will only tie you up and hand you over to them. We will not kill you. So they bound him with 2 new ropes and led him up from the rock. As he approached Lehi, the Philistines came towards him, shouting. The Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon him. The ropes on his arms became like charred flax, and the bindings dropped from his hands. Finding a fresh jawbone of a donkey, he grabbed it and struck down 1,000 men. Then Samson said, With a donkey's jawbone I have made donkeys of them. With a donkey's jawbone I have killed 1,000 men. When he finished speaking, he threw away the jawbone, and the place was called Ramath Lehi. Because he was very thirsty, he cried out to the Lord, You have given your servant this great victory. Must I now die of thirst and fall into the hands of the uncircumcised? Then God opened up the hollow place in Lehi, and water came out of it. When Samson drank, his strength returned, and he revived. So the spring was called En-Hakkore, and it is still there in Lehi. Samson led Israel for 20 years in the days of the Philistines. Judges chapter 16. One day, Samson went to Gaza, where he saw a prostitute. He went in to spend the night with her. The people of Gaza were told, Samson is here.
And that's also a theme. Prostitution was rampant. Like they say, it's the oldest profession. There it is in the Bible. And I kind of believe that this is why it's done today. I mean, it's not something holy, obviously, but it's done. They write it down. They talk about it. They talk about so many atrocious behavior in this book that it's just like, oh, well, they wrapped him up and then they tied him and took his sister and daughters and kids and burned them all in the house. Like, as a matter of fact.
So they surrounded the place and lay in wait for him all night at the city gate. They made no move during the night, saying, At dawn we will kill him. But Samson lay there only until the middle of the night. Then he got up and took hold of the doors of the city gate, together with the 2 posts, and tore them loose, bar and all. He lifted them to his shoulders and carried them to the top of the hill that faces Hebron. Sometime later, he fell in love with a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. The rulers of the Philistines went to her and said, See if you can lure him into showing you the secret of his great strength, and how we can overpower him, so that we may tie him up and subdue him. Each one of us will give you 1,100 shekels of silver. Whoa. So Delilah said to Samson, Tell me the secret of your great strength.
You see the deceit, and deceit runs rampant too. They're going to give her $1,100 shekels to deceive this guy that's in love with him, with her. Delilah.
And how you can be tied up and subdued. Samson answered her, if anyone ties me with 7 fresh bowstrings that have not been dried, I'll become as weak as any other man. Then the rulers of the Philistines brought her 7 fresh bowstrings that had not been dried, and she tied him with them. With men hidden in the room, she called to him, Samson, the Philistines are upon you. But he snapped the bowstrings as easily as a piece of string snaps when it comes close to a flame. So the secret of his strength was not discovered. Then Delilah said to Samson, you've made a fool of me. You lied to me. Come now, tell me how you can be tied. He said, if anyone ties me securely with new ropes that have never been used, I'll become as weak as any other man. So Delilah took new ropes and tied him with them. Then, with men hidden in the room, she called to him, Samson, the Philistines are upon you. But he snapped the ropes off his arms as if they were threads.
Does that story make any sense to you? It's got to be metaphorical, because it makes no sense that he knows what she's trying to do. She did it once, and then she said, make a fool of me. How you weak, man? Let me see. Tell me. And he's telling her. And then I'm pretty sure he got to be dumb. He got to be as dumb as a box of rocks. Because then he tells her again, and she does it again. So there was more than one attempt. I never heard that story. Totally forgot about the name Delilah, but now I kind of sort of remember. But we do know this story. They do push it on us. They put it in movies. Right? They even have cartoons about it. Which it seems kind of cartoony anyway.
Delilah then said to Samson, all this time you've been making a fool of me and lying to me. Tell me how you can be tied.
He's going to tell her.
He replied, if you weave the 7 braids of my head into the fabric on the loom and tighten it with a pin, I'll become as weak as any other man. So while he was sleeping, Delilah took the 7 braids of his head, wove them into the fabric and tightened it with a pin.
Doesn't make any sense.
Again she called to him, Samson, the Philistines are upon you. He woke from his sleep and pulled up the pin and the loom with the fabric. Then she said to him, how can you say, I love you, when you won't confide in me? This is the 3rd time you've made a fool of me and haven't told me the secret of your great strength. With such nagging, she prodded him day after day until he was sick to death of it. So he told her everything. No razor has ever been used on my head, he said, because I've been a Nazarite dedicated to God from my mother's womb. If my head was shaved, my strength would leave me, and I would become as weak as any other man.
So that was 4 attempts, I think.
When Delilah saw that he had told her everything, she sent word to the rulers of the Philistines, come back once more. He has told me everything. So the rulers of the Philistines returned with the silver in their hands. After putting him to sleep on her lap, she called for someone to shave off the 7 braids of his hair, and so began to subdue him.
It's got to be metaphorical.
And his strength.
Why 7 braids?
Then she called, Samson, the Philistines are upon you. He woke from his sleep and thought, I'll go out as before and shake my head. But he did not know that the Lord had left him. Then the Philistines seized him, gouged out his eyes, and took him down to Gaza. Binding him with bronze shackles, they set him to grinding corn in the prison. But the hair on his head began to grow again after it had been shaved. Now the rulers of the Philistines assembled to offer a great sacrifice to Dagon, their god, and to celebrate, saying, our God has delivered Samson, our enemy, into our hands. When the people saw him, they praised their God, saying, our God has delivered our enemy into our hands, the one who laid waste our land and multiplied our slain. While they were in high spirits, they shouted, "Bring out Samson to entertain us." So they called Samson out of the prison, and he performed for them. When they stood him among the pillars, Samson said to the servant who held his hands, "Put me where I can feel the pillars that support the temple, so that I may lean against them." Now the temple was crowded with men and women. All the rulers of the Philistines were there, and on the roof were about 3,000 men and women watching Samson perform. Then Samson prayed to the Lord, "Sovereign Lord, remember me. Please, God, strengthen me just once more, and let me with one blow get revenge on the Philistines for my 2 eyes." Then Samson reached towards the 2 central pillars on which the temple stood. Bracing himself against them, his right hand on the one and his left hand on the other, Samson said, "Let me die with the Philistines." Then he pushed with all his might, and down came the temple on the rulers and all the people in it. Thus he killed many more when he died than when he lived. Then his brothers and his father's whole family went down to get him. They brought him back and buried him between Zorah and Eshtaol, in the tomb of Manoah his father. He had led Israel for 20 years. Judges chapter 17.
All right. I'm going to leave it there.
Judges chapter 17.
I said I'm going to leave it there. Have a great day. Wisdom Wednesday. Love your soul, not your will. You already know. Wake up. Like, share, subscribe. Hit that notification bell. See you on the next one.